exploring new paths leading to new possibilities that challenge conventional thinking and lead to new and innovative solutions. Stay engaged and informed for creative insights that support a mature generation. Welcome to New Age Aging. For today's episode, we will introduce what it is like to start dating again after the age of 60. Now, I myself, your host, have no qualifications to speak to you in this area. After all, I've been married for close to 45 years, and I'm not looking to change that. But so many of us in this demographic are either divorced, widowed, or just want to find a connection that can add more to our lives. To do this research, I've talked to all my friends, men and women, who are currently involved or thinking of getting involved in dating. I've researched as much advice as I can get my hands on to distill the basic messages that are being offered from professional coaching services. The information in this episode was taken from psychology journals, date coaching websites, YouTube videos, dedicated forums, and anywhere else I can get my hands on it. I had a lot of fun getting this information to you, and needless to say, I've gotten myself into a few embarrassing moments by poking around in this area as a married man. In the many chats that I've had with my friends, I've isolated a set of common questions that, if answered, would give someone a good overview of what to expect in this area. The questions include such things as, am I ready to start dating? How do I meet people? And how does online dating work? Another, how do I avoid the potential dangers and pitfalls in approaching this area? Each of these questions, as well as others, served as a mini focal point as I went spelunking around the internet to find the answers and advice given. In researching this, I've uncovered so many relevant facts, approaches, and tips. We will not be able to do justice to this whole area in the time frame that we have here. So please use this episode as a starting point for your own personal research and discovery. At the end of the show, you will find information about how you can continue or extend your explorations in this area. The first question to ask is, are you ready to start dating? When all the research was done, I thought that this was probably the most important question of all. After all the experience that you've had up to this moment, do you really know the person that you are today? The research stressed this point over and over again, probably because most people miss this. Consider the following signs that you may not be as ready as you think you are. Number one, impaired self-esteem. With low self-esteem, it is much harder to function in the world the way you would like. Now, we are all unsure about ourselves in some way, but if insecurity is pervasive in your life, it will be hard to manifest the relationships that will truly satisfy you. Years of operating alone can easily erode confidence and self-esteem when it comes to dating. Number two, residual anger and bitterness. Have you recovered from your previous experiences, whether they involve death, divorce, or incompatibility? If you find yourself thinking more about the good or bad behind you rather than the possibilities ahead of you, you may not have recovered enough. If you still harbor anger from previous relationships, you may have to allow that to dissipate before successfully moving into the area of dating. Number three, unable to trust. Does putting trust in another person scare you? Are you capable of trusting? This is important. If you feel any of these three indicators, your dating experience may not be as stellar as you would like it to be. After dealing with our own readiness, research says you should start to focus on what you are looking for. All the dating experts and authorities emphasize that success in this area is very much dependent on how much we know and feel about ourselves. Here are clips from my research that indicate this very point.
People dating in general tend to be looking from the outside in, what will they see in me? But really, the more important thing is, what are you looking for? And what do you have to offer the world? And if you start with that, which is something that you recommend a lot in your book, which is coming from the inside about what you want.
So what are you looking for? Are you looking for companionship? Perhaps you are looking to increase the options and opportunities you have to do new things. Are you looking for love, affection, and intimacy? Now, these are powerful internal drivers that motivate many aspects of our lives. The experts suggest that we learn to accept these motivations as part of what life is all about. Are you looking to mean something special to another person? This becomes important as we get older. Many single people dismiss this motivator. Or maybe the urge to date stems from health or economic reasons. Perhaps you're looking to share resources, capabilities, or the tasks of living with another. So as the research suggests, understand the elements inside of you that encourage an exploration in this area. You will be served by that knowledge when it comes time to make your decisions. Of course, there will be things that will be important to you, and the characteristics of your ideal relationship is something that only you define. However, my research indicates that many people initially have overly restrictive criteria which can close out so many wonderful opportunities. And since it's unlikely that all of your specifications could be found in a single person, the question arises, how much are you willing to settle for? Notice that question. This turns out to be the wrong question and the wrong mindset. I am told that the idea should not be on settling, but on prioritizing instead. You see, settling means that you've accepted something less than you deserve, while prioritizing means you've established and are focused on the right kinds of standards that will make you truly happy. Prioritizing is a positive skill essential to balancing your careers, relationship, and life in general. And my reading suggests that a lot of our criteria comes from obsolete elements of our past. Here is a small, quick clip that points to this very point.
And the second mistake is basing your decisions based on the same criteria you did when you were younger. So if you think chemistry tells you that he's a good match, or you still have he needs to be tall on your list of must-haves, then you are missing out on a lot of really good men.
Now, the following clip takes a slightly different approach to this same topic. It asks, what do you think you're ready to receive into your life at this time? Take a watch.
When you're out there looking for love and romance, what am I ready to receive right now? You could make a long list of what you want. And then I would ask you, well, what do you believe you can have? And once you complete that, then the next really important question is, what am I ready to receive? For example, after my dear husband passed away many years ago, I went online and looked for love and romance, and I found it. I was looking for something quite specific at that time, but I wasn't looking for my life partner because I wasn't ready to receive that. Now I'm ready to receive that. But it's really important to be honest with yourself and clear with yourself about what you're ready to receive. I've met many people who tell me they're only ready to receive someone to go to the movies with or someone to just play and have fun, but they're not ready to receive the one, if you will, or their soulmate. So there are different things that we may be ready to invite and to receive. So ask yourself that question. What am I today ready to receive?
And now here goes a rather strange clip from what appears to be a computer, or at least a computer-like voice, offering up terse and sometimes very raw dating advice. I got a chuckle out of this video.
Over 50 dating, getting ready to date again. Over 50 dating can be a very difficult undertaking for many mature singles because, believe it or not, loneliness can be a hard habit to break. After all these years, are you physically and emotionally ready to let someone into your life? Chances are you don't need any kind of makeover to be attractive and an ideal mate to just one of the millions of single seniors out there. To date or not to date? Let's piece together the senior date or don't date puzzle with these reality check questions. What are you looking for? For men and women alike, the goal of over 50 dating should not be to find someone who will accept you. This is not a job you are applying for. Rather, you should start out with an idea of what you are looking for in a companion. This confidence booster puts you in charge of your dating destiny rather than date from a lucky to find someone mindset. Will your children approve? The only true answer is, who cares? It's time to finally put yourself first, and if they cannot accept that concept, they have some growing up to do. Your only obligation is to let them know of your decision to start dating again and that it won't affect your love or commitment to them. Will your friends understand? The answer is the same. Who cares? True friends will want the best for you and will encourage your dating efforts. Those who don't should be left behind in your dating dust. As the old saying goes, there are plenty of fish in the sea. Especially now as thousands of retiring single seniors join the dating pool every day. Just when you thought that your dating days had passed you by, the truth is that over 50 dating is the fastest growing dating trend on the planet.
Our next question asks, where do I go to meet people? The answer given from the research seems to make a lot of sense to me. The most natural way to meet people is from who you are and how you live. Every day you walk around your daily life, there are opportunities to meet men and women of all types. When you run errands, people who are just like you are doing the same thing. Being outside of your personal environment puts a constant stream of people in your path, and each person is an opportunity to experience something new. But even at home, there are so many online communities where you can get to know others virtually. Now, that might sound a bit strange to us older folks, but you can easily find and participate in online forums that relate to your interests. Now, according to what I am told by the research, there are more women than men out there in this age group. So women may want to focus on activities where men are usually found. And there are many places where gender ratios are conspicuously lopsided in one direction or another. To find better odds, men may want to consider adding Pilates or yoga classes to their regular schedules, while women may want to take part in a few computer, photography, or golf classes. And the traditional ideas of where to meet people still apply. Grocery stores, supermarkets, gyms, senior centers, these places still provide opportunity if you're an engaging person. Now, being out and about is just the first step. It does no good if you're closed, too reserved, or dismissive of the people around you. In a lot of cultures, flirting has a negative connotation, but it is an essential tool for those looking to become more involved with their preferred gender. Now, as a married man, I needed to understand a generally accepted definition of what flirting is. After all, I'm not in the game. But I came across the following suggestions to define this concept of flirting. Flirting is when you help a man feel like a man and a woman feel like a woman. That sounds nice. Another one, flirting is mutual flattery intended to boost ego. According to Webster's New World Dictionary, It is to pay amorous attention without serious intentions or emotional commitment. Let's see some video clips I stumbled upon regarding the black magic of flirting.
So let's start by defining what flirting is. It's actually acting amorously without serious intent. In other words, just being playful. I really believe that being a cultivated flirt is someone that enjoys engaging people, enjoys elevating their senses and having conversations because you actually like people. We're all natural flirts. So when we can lighten up on the idea of flirting and just know that it's a way of being spontaneous and playful and actually complimenting someone, because usually we act this way when we think that someone is special or they have something great about them. We have a tendency to compliment them more. So it's the greatest compliment someone can receive. So go ahead and flirt.
Many recent psychology studies indicate that flirting is probably the most powerful way of attracting your preferred gender. Flirting skills even rank higher than good looks in all of the studies that I saw. You will have to find your own personal style, of course, but doing so will give you confidence in handling the playful circumstances that you encounter. From watching guys flirt with my own wife for years, I know that there are some general do's and don'ts to be successful in this flirting area. The two most common characteristics of a good flirting skills are always smile and always make eye contact without actually staring. You can add anything to those two that seems to work for you without producing discomfort in either you or the other person. Flirting with text messages is new for most of us tech-limited olders, but it is also very valuable. Once you've exchanged phone numbers with someone you've met, either in life or online, let the other person know that they can text you. Texting is less intrusive and therefore preferred over a phone call. Texts give both sides a time to compose the responses more thoughtfully. Here are a few tips about texting that I've picked up from my research. When you are giving your phone number, always suggest that they can text you instead of calling. Always text back a response within 24 hours. Text messages give space and convenience to respond in our own time. But if you are interested in the message at all, a delay of more than 24 hours is almost always unwarranted. A few things to avoid in text messaging. Don't just text to say hi. Put more substance and meaning in your messages. Have it say something to the other person. Another one, don't hide your sexuality. A mild sexual innuendo can put interesting spice into a communication, but this is a tricky place. Save the sexy messages until after you have become more comfortable in doing so. And it's very important to avoid appearing needy. Neediness kills attraction, and two of the most common ways neediness shows in text flirting is when a person is too available or starts to over-text. And now we turn to the big question of online dating. Most people in our age group have some sort of misconception about online dating. But over the last 15 years, this has become one of the most significant ways in which people are meeting people. Yes, the dating scene is now driven by smartphones and laptops. And in a lot of ways, it makes finding that special someone a little bit easier. It's like opening up a catalog of people. Here goes a video to show you what I mean.
If you're single and over 50, do you think it's just too late to find love? Well, it is not. Love is blooming for the bloomers.
According to Match.com, the over 50 population right now is the fastest growing segment going.
This is a really booming demographic for dating. It's the fastest growing segment of our company at Smart Dating Academy. So much so that Match.com has, segmented a site called ourtime.com for singles over 50. You need to understand you can find love, and then it's not going to come to you if you're sitting at home on your couch watching reality TV. You've got to say, like anything big in my life, I need to set a plan, have goals, and do
That sounds
concrete
okay. Let me
things
just
every
jump
day
in.
and do it.
It just sounds like work. I got to have goals and set plans and all this stuff. Wow.
Go to
Really?
happy hour, talk
Yeah.
to some women. You need to do something. Set a plan, have some goals. If you want to go out on 1 to 2 dates a week, you're going to have to do something. Even if it's, putting a little cologne on, putting a nice sport coat on, and going to the bars. You have to do something in order to date. So, yes, absolutely.
Bella,
make a plan and stick to it.
You are even saying that it's time for even 50 and older to get savvy with technology.
Absolutely. You need to know. Yes, online dating is not for creepy, degenerate people. It's for everybody. Get a set of great pictures with good headshots, good body shots. Dress to impress. Know how to talk about yourself. Put a profile on at least 2 sites and put 30 minutes into it a day.
You can think of online dating as a numbers game. You send out as many messages as you can to anyone who seems cool. You'll get a few messages back, and maybe a few of those will turn into dates. It's a lot less stressful once you realize that you're not looking for that perfect person based on an online persona. Expect to meet many people as you learn about yourself and others. I discovered that each of the sites typically has a set of articles that will help the beginner ease into these waters. The links to these articles can usually be found in the small print at the bottom of the site pages. Here's a few examples of what I mean by where these links are located. The AARP dating site, Match.com dating site, and the Our Time dating site. Now, dating sites can be distinguished by several characteristics. One of the first is whether the site is a free site or a paid site. Free sites will have a few more fishy people, if you know what I mean, that you should steer clear of. When someone is paying to be on a site, you tend to get a better quality of person. Another difference is in how much work is needed to establish yourself on the site. Sites like Tinder and the AARP site require very little work, but that has its pluses and minuses, as we'll see later on. And then there are sites like OkCupid and eHarmony that ask you to specify a lot about yourself. This information is used to find matches that are unique for you. I decided to take a peek at a couple of these dating sites as best as I could without actually joining. After all, I am a married man, and I did not want to put out false advertising for myself. I first looked at what AARP had to offer, since they should know a lot about this particular demographic. AARP has started its own unique dating site, and of course, it's geared towards seniors, as you would expect. They have some introductory material for beginners, and I've put the links to these in the show notes for this episode. The show notes, of course, can be found on the GrowthWorks website. The user base for this dating site has increased over the past 2 years to more than 1 million users. Now, the typical dating site has members posting a profile and picture, which can sometimes be a lot of work. Furthermore, with most sites, introduction emails, chats, and some flirting is needed to get things off the ground and into the air. To use the AARP service, you come up with a date idea that is shared publicly with other members, along with a bit of information about you. There are a few questions to answer, and you can usually get paired up with someone based on mutual interest without much fuss or muss. The dating ideas range from the generic, for example, coffee somewhere quiet where we can chat, to the more specific, such as a bike ride along the local river. Either way, it's simple to judge someone just by the type of activity that they would like to share. After all, shared interests do provide a valid basis for matching. Now, This site is very easy to use. And what makes it easy? Well, the site has a fun, laid-back feel that's rather easy to maneuver. You can post a date for free without muss and fuss, or you don't have to complete a daunting profile. And you'll get a daily email from the site with potential dates based on your preferences. If you like the idea of a live meeting without spending hours online, this AARP dating site is a great option. But be aware that AARP dating promotes face-to-face meetings. So if you would rather spend more time learning about a person before stepping out with them, this site may not be for you. But the cost is an affordable $12 a month. And if you're an AARP member, you get a 7-day free trial and 50% off the membership. Now we take a quick look at Match.com. This site has the largest base of over 50 users of any of the other dating sites. Their in-depth and comprehensive profiles provide a lot of information to you and others about characteristics, preferences, and traits. This dating site can't be beat on the sheer volume. It boasts a membership of over 17 million. 2.5 million of those are seniors. Your odds are with you. The site lets you breeze through the profile creation process by checking off the basics first. You can save the paragraph sections for later if and when you feel like fleshing out your life story or specifying the details of the person you're looking for. Browsing is allowed for free, but you can't make any actual connections without joining a paid plan, of course. But the site does offer online guidance. The Our Time dating site showed excellent promise and much value in my research. 1.4 million seniors visit Our Time each month. It is one of the most popular dating sites catering to the over 50 set. The profile is a straightforward mix of multiple choice questions and a few paragraphs. And the profile questions, they range from, do you like to cook, to are you a punctual person? These traits are not important to the younger set typically, but many seniors consider such traits fairly important. Be aware that when signing up for auto payments on any online dating site or any site generally, complaints have been filed that certain sites continue to charge monthly fees after a member has canceled. Keep an eye on your bank statement to be alert for this deceptive practice. For any dating site, you have to give some information about yourself. This information is called your profile. Some sites feature very simple profile procedures, while others require more time-consuming effort. I have to repeat here that I am no expert on this and have no experience, but there is a lot of advice out there on the web about what you should and should not do when writing your own profile. Here goes a list of just a few of the tips that I picked up from my reading. A few things to pay attention to when filling out your information. Always spell check and review your grammar. You want to appear educated. Get to your point quicker. Trim out all filler words and redundant statements. If you are writing paragraphs, make them more readable simply by limiting the number of sentences you include in them. Limit yourself to 3 to 5 sentences per paragraph maximum. Give more than just factual information. For example, why do you do the things you do? Why are they important to you? Why did you originally get into them? And how do you feel during them? Include a few sentences also about what you find attractive or what you value in another person. Here are a few simple things to avoid as you complete your profile. Try not to rant and rave about the things that you hate. This is not appropriate in a profile. Don't explain your shortcomings or draw attention to them. Also, avoid using generic or cliched language, as well as avoid creating one-side profiles where you talk either only of yourself or only of the person you're looking for. Try to have a balance of both. And here goes a very important tip for the guys that I picked up in my reading. A woman's #1 fear about online dating is having to endure an intense meeting with a jerk or a stalker. So if you can make a woman smile or laugh or even relax, you'll put her mind well at ease and be much ahead of the game. Now, online dating has many success stories, and these stories are all around us. While walking across a hotel lobby, I ran across one of these success stories and decided to chat with them about their experience and history. This couple you're about to see met online around the mature age of 60. Since the conversation had a lot of ambient noise from the hotel lobby, the words are provided in the video for clarity. Nonetheless, I still thought that what they had to say was valuable enough to include this video. Watch, see if you agree. How long have you been with each other?
6 years.
6 years. And how old were each of you when you met?
I was 54.
I was 60.
60. And how did you meet?
Met online. It was a very interesting way for us to have met.
He was in South Carolina and I was in Alaska.
Whoa, hold on a second. Did I hear this correctly? Okay, so what attracted you to that distance?
I don't know that it was the distance, it was the person that was on the other end of the communications. I loved the way he did it. In the early days, we decided that we were so far apart, mileage-wise, we probably would never meet each other, but we would become pen pals.
Interesting, interesting.
So we decided to become friends first.
Okay.
She lives so far away that, like she said, I didn't think we'd ever meet one another, and we started communicating through emails and later on through phone calls. And there was no reason to not be straight up with somebody with whom I anticipated not really ever having any other kind of relationship.
Interesting.
And of course I was very attracted to her. She looked very nice online, a very nice picture, and surely enough she was just as pretty as you see. And so our relationship, the initial phases of our relationship wasn't just a conversation in a bar somewhere. It was a long period of time before. So I would really like for you to fly to South Carolina, and she did, and we have a great partnership, I would have to say.
The question arises from that, do you think it's better to meet online where you can have these long, non-contacting courtships through words? Do you think that's a better venue?
It's certainly different. What do you think?
I don't know that it's better. There's always going to be a risk there.
Yes.
And so you just have to be able to weed out the BS, I guess.
Okay. Do you feel weeding out the BS is easy to do in this venue?
No, it's not easy. But we both offer that. Actually, he offered a lot of personal information before I decided to come to South Carolina to visit with him.
I had to send a whole bunch of stuff to her sisters.
Social security number, license number, where he worked.
Well, she was flying from Alaska down to South Carolina to meet some redneck biker that never met before, and it took quite a
Doesn't
It was a leap of faith.
step there.
Doesn't seem rather teenager-ish.
My family thought so, but I'm a grown woman. I know how to dial 911 and get to and from an airport. So
Okay. So you
First place I took her when she came down to visit me, I ran out of gas on the back road.
That's so old.
oh, I know, I was shocked.
It worked in the 60s. It's true. True story.
So now, did love start to bloom before you meet through the interactions you had online, or did love start happening after you meet?
I would say before, when we spoke on the phone.
Different kind of love. It's based largely initially on just respect for the other person, as opposed to heavy breathing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we had the opportunity to start out that way, and it has remained so.
And we were both at a stage in our careers that I was going to be retiring within 6 months. And Richard had some more time left. But I knew, and we both wanted to travel. So that was kind of our first big date, was planning a trip. Buying an RV.
You bought an RV together?
Yes, we did.
Now, falling in love at this age is different than falling in love when you're 20 years old. Can you tell me about the difference? What's the difference between falling in love now and falling in love when
You
you're
don't fall.
17?
Don't fall.
You don't fall. Help me understand.
I don't think we ever fell in love. I think we created it. We walked into it with a lot more,
You put it.
eyes more wide open than we were 40 years ago.
But still, forming a relationship still has its challenges. You become familiar with each other in ways that friends don't do as you start to form such a relationship. How do you find yourself more tolerant or less? Is it more or less, is a give and take that goes on between you more or less than what it would have been had you been 20 years old?
Oh, I would have to say more. There's so many things in our relation, the day-to-day living, that I have just let go. So, in the beginning, when you're in a young relationship, I was always second guessing myself, and I don't do that anymore. I don't do that.
I think that we have an exceptionally happy home. It's just her and I and the dog. Great dog. At this age, when you're 20, you have no past. 20-year-olds are invariably inexperienced.
Yes.
We both have someone in our past we both love very much. Her late husband, my late wife. There's no jealousy about that. It's just the way it is. We both have histories. We've lived a lot of life. We've learned a lot of things. We have respect for each other's opinion. A lot of respect. Respect is a huge part of it. And shared interests. You don't have to share everything. But you do have to have enough shared interests so that you're spending a great deal of your time doing things that you like together.
That's interesting you say that. You're coming up with rules, not rules, but guidelines for what you may consider a successful relationship. Are these guidelines any different for 20-year-olds as opposed to 60-year-olds?
Yes. When you're 20 years old, there's no way you can commit to spending the rest of your life with somebody. No way that I can say. I am totally committed to this one more than I've ever been to anybody else.
And that's a function of your age at this point in time? Or your wisdom?
I'm just too old to go find anybody else. No, we're a good fit. We're just a good match together, and it's something that has developed over time. We're more sensitive to those things that annoy one another.
Do you think you'd be sounding the same way if you met when you were 30?
No. When I was 30, I was drinking a lot. I don't drink anymore at all. I think of us as a partnership more than there's. she's not the boss of me, and I'm not the boss of her.
And there's different expectations at this age.
At this age, there's different expectations. Can we talk
I'm
about
not
that?
I'm not going to be having any more children. That was a big expectation in my life. I thought it would be great that my family would love him, but it's not that important at this age as it was when I was 20.
Interesting. What would you say to someone who's 60-year-old, a woman who's 60-year-old, and finds herself in need of companionship? How might you advise her?
Because of where I live, there are a couple places where you can meet men. And one is in church. If you don't go to church, that's out. Or in bars. And that's not an option. If that's not an option, where are you going to meet somebody? So that's what I chose to do, is to join a dating group online and be able to meet men that way. But I was ready. You have to be ready. You have to be open and willing to getting your heart broken again.
Yes.
And that's a lot. That holds a lot of people back.
Now, what advice would you give to someone your age who's looking for companionship in the same manner? What advice would you give them?
Take a chance. Look at every aspect of what you need, what your needs are, and find somebody who will fill those needs as closely as possible.
As closely as possible.
They're going to fill all
of course,
needs, but find somebody who can do that, and find somebody who is at least as smart as you are. I was like, I found somebody a little smarter.
That's my blessing too, Debbie.
And find somebody with whom you agree on most issues. You don't have to agree on everything, but you have to agree on most issues. And you have to agree to disagree on other issues. You have to be willing to compromise.
You have to be tolerant.
If the other person...
And respect. And respect each other.
Respect keeps coming around.
Right,
That's,
exactly.
yeah, we should have that. We should have a big sign behind us that says respect, because that's where it is. Right after that would be consideration.
Now, Leslie, you said you have to be able to take a risk, and you put it, be willing to have your heart broken.
Sure.
Now, that's a scary thing for most people.
Terrifying.
Now, this topic of dating after 60 is a very big one that has many elements and aspects to consider. It is not a light topic, and this discussion is far from over. Some of the things we have not yet mentioned in this episode include: what are the common scams connected to online dating? What tips to make the first date a success? Another, are older men really looking for younger women? And still another, how to reject a prospect safely and respectfully. What about sexually transmitted diseases and my own body issues, plus many more aspects to this that we'll discuss online? Please continue your exploration in these areas by joining me in further discussion online. Instructions on how to do that are spelled out in the show notes, which you will find on the displayed URL on your screen and in the description field of this episode. Take advantage of the research I've done for you. Post questions or comments at the displayed links. I will have experts join me for these online forum discussions, or I may just point you to material that should move you closer to your answers. You can also find resource links to videos and articles in the GrowthWorks website. Just look under the New Age Aging tab to access all the show notes for this series. Thank you for watching, and until next time, be well.